Mm-hmm. Okay, he's on, trying to get on right now. He said he went back to the email from Miss Bowie and he's clicked on that, but it just doesn't do anything.
Pete.
Yes.
Tell him to go into his calendar.
Yeah. Go.
And you can click right on the Zoom link from there.
Yeah.
I had to do the same thing.
You got it on. He's on his calendar right now. There's Miss Mason.
Hey, Melissa.
Okay. I had to refresh my page, so
Yeah, you may have to refresh your page. Melissa just said.
It's always something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just sent Mr. McManus an email.
Did she just send me something on my phone?
Yeah, just sent you an email.
Hang on. No, I ain't received it so far. I don't know how to get on the damn Zoom. But it's not loading up. It's directly off. I heard my phone go off.
All right.
Well, that was from you, Mark, about joining us.
Yeah, was I think from the Board of Education trying to join. Oh, yeah, I said, are you joining us? But
well, I guess I can listen to. But
okay, I'll leave you on listening right now.
It pops up.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead. Welcome to our special Zoom meeting today, 11/20/23 at 1 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Ms. Bowie, would you please call the roll?
Pete Wildeboer.
Here, present.
Pat Bradford.
I am here.
Josie Barnhart.
Here.
Stephanie Craybill.
Here.
Melissa Mason.
Here.
Hugh McManus.
Distant here.
He said a distant here if you couldn't hear him. I don't know if you can hear him well, but okay.
We can
very
hear him.
good.
We can hear him.
And
okay.
Stephanie Walker.
Okay, Ms. Walker shared with me that she had a conflict, so she would not be able to join us. But I thank all the board members for being here. The remainder of the board members, she did share with me her thoughts earlier today. Ms. Walker did, and I also want to wish everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving this week. Dr. Faust, good to see you. Moving there, but I would now entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. McManus seconds. Okay. Your first and second, any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying, well, because it's remote, we should probably do it roll call method. Ms. Bowie, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Wildeboer.
Yes.
Ms. Bradford.
Yes.
Ms. Barnhart.
Yes.
Ms. Craybill.
Yes.
Ms. Mason.
Yes.
And Mr. McManus.
Yes.
Okay, so that passes 6-0. Thank you, board members. At this point, the sole bit of business we have today is to discuss the regional legislative luncheon. I will turn it over to the chair of that of the legislative committee, Ms. Barnhart. Ms. Barnhart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I come with a request. It's the legislative recommendation to approve a networking luncheon to be held on December 13th. This would meet with Pender, Brunswick, and New Hanover County. We would openly invite the superintendents and the theme to be academic excellence with that. And so that would be my motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second discussion. Hearing none.
Mr. Wildeboer.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Craybill.
So in the motion, I heard the date. I didn't hear times or location or anything like that.
Ms. Barnhart?
I think that works the act time frame might be slightly, I think from my notes, 11 to
Can you,
1
are you on here?
discuss the Board of Education.
Hardly hear her.
Josie, I can't understand you. I can't understand you at all.
Okay,
I think,
well,
I think that was my
I
fault
believe
because we had a loop. Ms. Grable, I was just
okay, I
sharing
think
that I think
from
that,
recollection,
go ahead, Ms. Barnhart.
do I
I'm
have
sorry.
okay, I believe my question that would be at 11.
11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, you're gonna have to repeat everything she's saying because she's really
Okay.
breaking up.
Yeah. Yep. She said 11 o'clock and it would be held, I believe, at the Board of Education Center. Is that correct,
That's
Ms. Barnhart? Okay.
Yes.
11 p.m. at the Board of Education, 11 a.m. My mistake, not in the middle of the night, 11 a.m. At the Board of Education Center.
Say the date again.
It is December 13th.
And so,
Ms. Crabell? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Mason?
My question, I don't know, Ms. Crable, does yours kind of go with that one? Because mine does not.
yeah, mine does. I just
Okay, go ahead
wanted
then.
clarification. Thank you. I just wanted clarification that we were all invited. Like who are the people going, who's going to be there? Who are we inviting?
Ms. Barnhart, did you hear the question?
Yes, so the discussion from the committee was that the superintendents plus a potential guest, maybe their chief academic officer, since the theme is academic excellence, county commissioners of surrounding counties, as well as the chief finance officer and board members. I've heard back from a few board members on both Pender and Brunswick County, and I think they're delegating individuals to come. I don't believe their whole boards are coming, but it was the acknowledgement that all would be invited and they would make that decisions themselves.
So I believe Ms. Crabell's question is, so then that would mean that our whole board would be invited to come.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Ms. Crabell?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Mason.
My question is, where is the funding coming from for this? Well, that's two parts, actually. How much is this going to cost the district, and where is the funding coming from?
Ms. Barnhart?
I don't have details for that.
Okay.
So we're approving something we don't know what it's going to cost. How many people do we expect? Man, I'm not aware of who we invited, except I heard Brunswick. So what do the numbers look like?
It would be their county commissioners, board of education members, superintendents, and a guest. So maybe 40 people.
Probably more like 30.
30 or 40 people, okay.
And I apologize for getting on late. Well, I didn't get on late for getting access late. And the top two priorities, if I may ask, or three that we want to make sure we discuss or share? I mean, the rationale behind this meeting, and I have nothing against Brunswick County at all. That's not the issue. Just what are the issues, the positives?
I believe what Ms. Barnhart has said is that, this focus will be academic excellence. And I believe it's actually Pender and Brunswick County. So it would be, the three tri-counties. Is that correct, Ms. Barnhart?
Yes, sir. And so what the committee discussed was an opportunity for the superintendents to clearly share out some positive things that are happening in all favor districts, as well as some highlights that they would like to see improvements become. And we have to back as a legislative committee and having an open work session to discuss, because one of the ways that we know in order to receive state funding is be a part of a pilot program, a local bill, and we're able to have and maybe what are some common areas of interest of potential opportunity for growth, then we would be able to come back together and advocate that on a state level.
And I'm going to ask if maybe if Ms. Bradford, because she's part of the committee, Ms. Barnhart is breaking up pretty much right now. It's hard to understand her. So I'm wondering if Ms. Bradford might fill in some of the blanks we just encountered.
My notes are not as good as Ms. Barnhart's, but we talked about having a brief overview of the state budget for education. And the superintendents would all three speak. And this is the order that I have them in. And the superintendents would share their top 2 challenges. And the CFOs would be there to meet and discuss the state budget and the things that they're seeing in regards to academic excellence. That's what this is about. 5 minutes to each super and ideas that they'd like to see. There'll be, I think it's a box lunch. It's not a fancy wait staff type luncheon. There'll be table conversations and staff members at each table. And then we'll bring those things back to the body, as you do in a lot of these kind of meetings. We're gonna share some. We're going to share together and share our accomplishments for the new year. The second part of it at the tables is a guided discussion, 10 minutes in sharing out. Let's see what else. It will be live streamed, audio and visual, both. And we are not making any decisions at this meeting. And that's why all of us can be there at the same time. Same with the other board members. We're just in an information gathering and sharing kind of meeting, gathering.
And if I could jump in before and just ask Dr. Faust, can you think of a funding source that we could use to take care of the cost of the lunch, Dr. Faust?
So I will get with Ashley and we will get the budget line item for that for Crystal.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Craybill?
Yeah, I was just, I was at that meeting too, and I was just wondering if Ms. Barnhart had a proposed agenda we could look at to kind of see how the flow goes. And I guess I'm wondering too, if our board members are going to have any speaking role, or is it basically just us listening to the superintendents present their highlights, our CFOs presenting the budget, and the superintendents then also sharing their challenges? That's kind of what I remember. I have a meet and greet in the beginning and then the wrap up. So it would be helpful if we had an agenda to kind of look at.
Ms.
Like, how
Bradford?
long is it going to last? Till 11 to 1, 11 to 12?
Mr.
Ms.
Chairman,
Bradford?
we set all of that out in the meeting because it wasn't approved. It's not written yet. But we set out the time, we set out every single detail, and we had 3 board members there, and we had a board member who was a guest that was there, who's present today. So all of those things were set out. They've already been discussed at length. And I didn't take it down in agenda form. I took it down in notes. I'm sure Ms. Barnhart has some sort of draft pending this meeting, but we set out the time. We set out even time for restroom break. So my impression was our ability to talk would be at the meet and greet portion, which is 15 minutes before the meeting starts. And then at the tables, we'll be sitting with different members of this body that we're inviting, and we will have discussions that we will participate in. And then those discussions will then be shared back with the larger body, table by table, as is pretty common in this kind of meeting.
Ms. Barnhart, can you hear us? Ms. Barnhart?
Yes, I have, yes, I can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well now.
Okay, my network keeps coming in and out. So that from my recollection, yes, Ms. Bradford, that was the format of this as well. The whole premise I thought of the legislative committee was to create these networking opportunities. And so when the question became if there need to be formal board approval, 2 months ago when it was shared out during the legislative meeting recap, we shared that we were looking into a networking date in December. There was nothing brought up from any board members at that time about specific areas of concern about anything. So I would have loved the opportunity to have explored that and make sure that you guys had all that information. But now it's kind of, I've gotten confirmation from all the superintendents who are essentially be a panelist for this meeting. I wouldn't consider it a meeting. It is a legislative networking opportunity because we're not taking action. It's just an opportunity for us to come together collectively and talk. And so if it's not the will of the board to do that, then okay, I just curious about the purpose of the legislative committee if we do not want that. So
our county commissioners are in favor of doing this?
Ms. Barnhart? Have you heard back from county commissioners? Ms. Barnhart?
not sent out a formal, because we have not sent out a formal invite because the board has not approved this. So I could not tell you for certain who all is coming at this time because the board has not approved it. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay, if I may follow through with that, I asked that question because we've got big expectations, hopefully with our county commissioners as to our needs, considerable needs to continue to perform for all of our students. And I know enough of them, but I thought they would have, I assumed that they would have in some shape, form, or fashion approved this. So what you're saying is we have to approve it before we invite them. I think we got it backwards. I'll be honest with you. The county commissioners are very, very important to us. And in my personal and professional opinion, I think that we need to get, whether somebody needs to say, which is usually how it works, formally or informally. Yeah, we think that's okay. That's just that's my opinion. If they want to meet, I'm all for it because they're so important to us. But if we haven't heard from them, I kind of hate to shoot out ahead and turn around and make sure nobody's following.
I can tell you, Mr. McManus, the calendar dates have been held for that time because when we were looking at planning, that was one of the things that we asked of Ms. Bowie is to reach out to see if what dates in December were an opportunity. And this was the date that they gave back to us as it would have been a collective, yes, they have that date open.
Okay, but did they know what they were keeping the date open for? Were they informed it was for a 3-county get-together, sharing of strengths, weaknesses, programs, etc.? I think that's a fair question.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I ran into the county commission chair at a social function not too long ago and mentioned to him that we were working on this and would he have an interest? And he said, absolutely.
Okay,
I think I
that's
might
good
have
to know.
mentioned it to one or two of the others over the past, what have been working on this now for months. I'm sure I've mentioned it to at least 2 others as I ran into them, that this is something we're working on trying to do. Would they have an interest in that? So I know of the, yeah, at least 3.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, let's go ahead and move forward with Ms. Craybill. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess the reason I asked my question about who's going to be talking and presenting, I know that our counties are funded differently, through our county commissioners. So I just want to make sure that none of our, not our commissioners or our neighboring commissioners would be embarrassed or would be, not embarrassed is not the right word, would be caught off guard with anything that we might be talking about. So that's just one watch out as we're having discussions, because we're 3 counties managed in 3 different ways. And I mean, I'm anxious to hear if they're hear about their success stories, and I'm anxious to share ours. And it will be good to hear if our challenges are the same. But I am feeling a little hesitant. We don't want to put our county commissioners, ours or theirs on the spot for if this is supposed to be do something or make them. I know we're not going to vote on anything, but that's my only thoughts.
Oh, and Ms. Craybill, I would agree. I think it would be very smart once that we approve, or if we do approve this today, that we would send out an agenda to the superintendents of all 3 counties, as well as the commissioners for all 3 counties, so they know what they're getting into, as we move forward. And even and I don't want to speak for Ms. Barnhart or the legislative committee, but I think it would make sense for even to get feedback quickly from them, that so that they can say, well, the superintendent doesn't really want to speak, or whatever else. But I mean, I wouldn't think, especially if they're touting the good things that are going on in their counties, why they wouldn't want to speak. But at least give them an opportunity to look at it, and this would be a first go round, and hopefully if it is approved by the board, that would be a situation that we could do it in the future also, that the 3 counties can come together. I know Dr. Faust speaks with the superintendents fairly regularly, but it would be good for maybe even the bigger group to get together. So any other discussion?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah,
Mr. McManus.
So if we approve this, we're approving an invite to the 3, technically or officially an invite, of which you believe that they will all come. Excuse me, 1 or more will come. So we don't know how many will come. So they can send 1 person or 5, or is that correct understanding?
Yes.
Ms. Barnhart, Ms. Bradford. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And so unless it was, okay. So can we even legally meet us or quorum like that? But we're not discussing anything, I assume, in voting. So we can have 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Vogel, we're good with that?
Yes. If you're not conducting business, you can gather socially.
Okay. All right.
Well, we are discussing business, Mr. Vogel. If we're talking about our successes and our non-successes and how we're approaching them and finances, et cetera, we're discussing business.
You're not conducting business.
We're discussing business. That's conducting business. That's a manner of choice of verbs. But either way, well, if Bill Reinbach says he supports it, then I will support Bill Reinbach. But if he does not support it, then I don't think we should do it.
Okay. All right. Ms.
Because I
Blue,
trust Bill Reinbach to try to do what's best for the school system.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Ms. Craybill.
Yeah, can we circle back just to a minute to Melissa's question about the funding? I'm guessing that we're paying for it all, because we're not going to invite people to our party and say you have to. It's a potluck, so bring your own lunch, and and that's being facetious. I know that's not the case, but so the board doesn't have its own funding line item, right?
Dr. Faust had already spoken to that he would have to go through and
circulate. Okay.
Right. But I do know this lady who makes great soup.
Yeah.
Warm soup, but it was
Buttercup.
very good.
Yeah.
Yep,
Buttercup.
yep.
So
All
Pete,
right.
are you looking for a motion? I would move. that
We have a motion and a second, I think, in front of us already. So that was discussion. Ms. Bowie, because it is a virtual meeting, would you please call the roll? Again, the motion is to accept Ms. Barnhart's motion to host a meeting on the 13th of December at 11 o'clock at the Board of Education building, consisting of boards of education, the superintendents, the CFOs.
Mr. Wildebohr. Mr. Wildebohr,
He's frozen. His
Uh,
picture.
uh,
Frozen.
There you go.
There he
I'm
goes.
back. Yes.
Miss Bradford,
Yes.
Miss Barnhart,
Yes.
Miss Craybill,
Yes.
Miss Mason,
Yes.
and Mr. McManus.
Yes, if Bill Rivenbark says yes.
Okay. With that, that passes 6-0. The only other business we have on our agenda is adjournment. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
The motion to adjourn, second. I'll second that. All in favor? Well, we probably need to do it officially again. So, Ms. Bowie, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Wildebohr,
Yes.
Miss Bradford,
Yes.
Miss Barnhart,
Yes.
Miss Craybill,
Yes.
Miss Mason,
Yes.
and Mr. McManus.
Yes.
Okay. Again, just as we close, I would want to wish everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great time with your family. Happy Thanksgiving, and we are adjourned. Thank you, board members and Dr. Faust.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.